Terry, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today about your current exhibition at Kasteel de Wittenberg. Do you mind taking us through the beginning of your show?
No, of course not.
Thank you.
Well, these are paintings which were started in 2014 after my last exhibition here. And as you can see, I'm using natural objects here, shells, stones, and backgrounds. And for example, this painting is interesting from a composition. If you get rid of the room, the painting doesn't work. But because this is there and that's there, it's not accident. It's meant to look like it's natural, but it's not. It's planned. You get this kind of compositional effect, drawing the eye into the painting. And here, of course, you have the background going away. So there is perspective. And the palette is very different. It's subdued grey, which corresponding to this one, which is done more or less the same time. See, it's very different, but you're always experimenting. You're always trying to do something new. And how far can I go? Yes. And this one is very geometric.
Yes. Interesting. This is also in the middle. Was this painted at the same time?
Yes. And this is, there's always a little bit remaining of what you've been doing.
Yes, here.
And here, and then there again, you see the structure is coming into it. This is very flowing around, but contrast with the stronger lines, which are here too. See, there's a sort of vague window there. If you look at it, this could be a table in front of the window, and maybe a curtain even here.
So, Terry, please tell us, how did you progress from this style of art to this very different style behind you?
I didn't really progress because collage is something I've always done at the same time. And if you look at these, they're very constructed, they're very ordered, they're very organized, they're very planned. If you look at these, they're very free, they're much freer. You can still see there's a construction within it, there's a basic framework, but then I let myself go. And this is something I do if I've finished a series of paintings, and I think that was that, I've done, and then I still want to work, not work, can't be, I have to.
Yes.
And sometimes when I don't really want to, but it's there. And so I do this, I do collage, which it's not pure collage. You can see I can't really paint it. But then I start playing around with this, and it's lighter, it's sometimes a bit jokey. It's something that I do in between my more serious work, should we put it like that.
The latest part of your work?
Well, this painting is very much a painting of the transition from my better known style to the later work. You can see the beginnings of the geometric plan. The window here is very prominent. It's very much a part of the painting. And without the window, it would be boring, because it's just this, and it would be okay, but it would miss something. So the window is there for a reason. This, of course, is here, very much a theme of mine in the other paintings. Inside, outside. We live inside, we live outside. And these are man-made objects. This is nature. And so the combination between the two. In my previous exhibition, the man who opened the exhibition said it reminds me very much of Robert Frost, poet, because he had poems which he was talking about being inside and nature being outside. But then in the evening he would close the curtains and nature would still be there, he'd still be there, there was still a connection. So this is that sort of idea. This one was started in Italy. I was in Italy 2 years ago, and we visited the frescoes of Giotto in Florence. And you know, frescoes have this sort of faded quality, and and very much these colours. And it was good weather, so I was outside a lot of the time. But there was one day it rained a lot, and I sat in the house. I was living as staying with friends, and they had this, which I drew in my sketchbook, liking the shapes, the idea of the geometrical part of it. And then later I went home, and later on looking through my sketchbook and what I'd done, and all that, could maybe use that in a painting. And so that's how that started, and then how I determined what colours I was going to use. And then, of course, these are things you've seen the tennis ball before. These are the little icons that I have that keep appearing in my work. Where do you look? Where, and you shouldn't be up here and then over there, and then because it's not nice to look at. You get an uneasy feeling. So all the time I was struggling with this. It took a long time to make, and I kept putting it away, leaving it, coming back to it, changing it. But if you look at it, I could probably make about 6 different paintings. You can cut this out and have a little abstract. You can cut this out, you have a little picture of a shell and 2 flints. You could cut this out and have a still life. But my wish was to integrate it into one picture, and you can see that by this back over here. And white is also a uniting thing in this painting. A little bit of rest, peace, you know, without anything going on, because there's so much going on. And I called it points of view. I didn't know what to call it. I called it points of view because you can look in different things and see, have a different.
Art formally at the Art Academy of London, l'École de Louvre Paris, and the Frye Academy Den Haag, some very prestigious schools. What was it that prompted you to move to a career in teaching?
Well, I can answer that very easily. My father.
Ah.
I'm from a military family, as you understand, and my father was very good. He never said you have to. He was forced into the army by his grandfather. His father, my grandfather, was also in the military. And you know how that goes. And in Britain especially, it's a very family thing.
Yes.
It's a prestigious thing. My father was in the Royal Artillery, but he never expected me to go into the army. He said, no, I wouldn't ever force you to do that, but what do you want to be? What do you want to do? Well, the only thing I'm really good at is painting. Yes, but I don't see that as a career. Not at all. I said, well, you know. He said, you need a diploma of some kind. You need some qualifications. So I thought, what can I do? So I decided to be a teacher. I didn't really want to be a teacher, but I thought it's the best thing I can do because I'm still busy with art, but it's, you know, I'm getting an income. And but luckily for me, I found out that I could do it and that I liked it. And in the teachers' room, there was several young teachers, and we all started looking around for something else, not to get out of teaching, but to change. Now, to change in Britain was okay, you could do that, but I didn't want to leave London particularly. But in the Times Educational Supplement, they have advertisements, teacher wanted, in Barbados or wherever. So we were all looking for a job in those, but of course there are not many. And there was one I saw which popped up, which just a teacher wanted, American School of the Hague. I thought, a teacher, now what kind of teacher do they want? And where's the Hague? I heard of Amsterdam and Hilversum, but the Hague was a sort of vague thing for me. Anyway, I was interviewed in London by the principal here, and he took me, he said, well, I want you because you have art as a background, and we have no art program in the school. There are only 400 students. So I'd like you to set up a basic, simple program. So, but you'll have to do other things as well. For the first year I had a 6th grade homeroom, I taught math, I taught gym, I I mean, taught is a good word, and English and social studies, which I enjoyed, history, you know, which I was able to, and gradually I became more of the art teacher, but that took several years.
So, after 36 years of teaching at American School of The Hague, what is the standout memory for you?
Well, there are many, 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 of course, but of course I think it has to come down to the kids, to the students. They were wonderful. I mean, you get a real buzz from them, and from their enthusiasm you get enthusiastic, and if you're interested, they're interested on the whole, I found. And of course the international atmosphere was wonderful. It wasn't a school that you can see everywhere. It was a unique school, and many, many interesting people, teachers and staff, and as I said, the students.
What one piece of advice would you give to our recent graduates or high school students who are looking to have a career in art?
That's a hard one. I think it comes down to the fact that if you're really serious, you really have to go for it, because it's not an easy world. There's a lot of competition. But if you really want to do it, then you're going to do it, and you will do it. But you have to be prepared for a lot of knocks. It's like acting. You're presenting yourself. You've got your work under your arm, or what you've done, and it can be rejected. And you mustn't take it personally. It's not. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the work, not because it's bad necessarily, but because it doesn't fit a gallery, it doesn't fit the time, it doesn't fit that. But all you have to do is just lick your wounds and go and get at it again and do it and do it. And if you're really, really going to have a career in art, you have to want to do that. You can't not do it. That's all I can say.
Great advice.